YouTube, what the crap's going on? HeirofCarthage here, back in the Third Age Total War, and I'm gonna bring you a replay, and it's gonna be a pretty epic one, to be honest. So hopefully you enjoy it. This is gonna be Dale versus the Kingdom of Arnor. So Dale, obviously, the folks from the city, where you see it in the battle for 5 armies. They're all fighting at Dale. So that's where that's at, and then Arnor, the kingdom that Strider or Aragorn would have come from, so the Northern Kingdom, I believe. So pretty excited. Hold on, let me grab a drink of water here. Sorry, no, that's probably obnoxious. The battle has started though, and let me just show you some of the forces that I'll be fielding as Dale. Pretty excited to bring you all this. I just have some Dale cavalry here on my right flank, and both of my cavalry flanks are supported by these Bjornings, which are kind of like an axe unit that had a bonus versus large, so I thought that was cool. I've got some Dale Swordmasters making up one side of my line, and then on the other side of my line I have some of these guys, Barding Herd. So that's what I've got on the other side. Then as far as cavalry on my other flank, I've got 2 of these Horse Guards, and then 1 Earl's heavy cavalry where my general is, and the heavy cavalry looks pretty sweet. And like I said, they're supported by these guys. Now for the Kingdom of Arnor, they had a ton of cavalry. And their cavalry, I assume, is pretty good. It looks pretty sweet. Looks a lot like Gondorian cavalry, really. So they had Arnor Knights, Knights of the Animos, or Anaminos, or whatever they are, and more Arnor Knights. And then his infantry, he's got some Arnor Militia, and already he's got some Dunedain Rangers here that are opening fire on me. Arnor Men-at-Arms, and then he's got some battle-ready Dunedain here, which looks like some pretty cool two-handed sword units. Dismounted Dunedain Knights. So he's got a lot of cavalry, and then he's even got a hobbitry and arms here, so he's got some hobbits in his service. That's pretty hilarious. So my Bardian Marksmen, which are some sweet heavy archers that I had, have already opened fire on his archers, getting the first shots. His guys are in loose formation though, so it'll slow their losses. He has some Arnor pikemen as well, which is probably a pretty good move. And then he's sending an Arnor militia over here to try and help fight off my cavalry because I'm supporting with infantry. So I pulled one of my dismounted earls, and I'm going to meet his militia with my dismounted earl. It should be a pretty easy victory for him. Tear these guys up. However, this mod is very different than regular medieval Total War. I think it is, at least. It feels very different to me. Over here, he is going to get the charge on some of my cavalry, which is unfortunate. I wasn't paying attention with all my cavalry units. But I do have infantry support, and I turn around and I'm going to support my these cavalry fights pretty quickly. And then I'm going to chase this cavalry that shot through the gap. It gets a pretty nice flank charge here on some of my Bardian Marksmen, which are some very expensive archers, so nice target for him. He cavalry charges and then pulls his guys out like he probably should. His militia is going to get destroyed. And then his unit over here, which initially got a very good charge, is going to get chopped down pretty handily by my axemen, who seem to be very good cavalry support. I'll have to keep them in mind. The mainline infantry fight's kind of begun. Unfortunately, he had these pikemen here, and I'm having a hard time trying to get through the pikemen. And what men I lose there is just going to make it harder for me to kill his troops in the late game. And he just keeps sneaking through everywhere he can with his cavalry and is just very, very focused on my Bardian Marksmen. But, I mean, he is paying a price with his cavalry, but he's getting kills on my Bardian Marksmen, and he's trying to kill my general, too. My Earls gets charged from behind here by this special knight unit, but they're taking heavy missile fire from my Bardian Marksmen at point blank. And then I've got another one of these axe units coming in to support against the Arnorian cavalry, and they're effective versus armor, and they have a bonus versus cavalry, so pretty good unit. But I mean, heavy cavalry is pretty slippery in this game. They can pull away from you quite a lot, and you can see they're doing that here. And I'm just hitting these guys in the backs with arrows, but some very nice rear charges here by these Knights of Arnor. It's very hard to see what goes on in the battles on medieval or on Third Age Total War because there are no unit flags. Really wish that was something we can add. At least I would think surely it's, I don't know, I'll check and make sure it's not something I can add. But yeah, it seems very, very difficult to see what's going on without any unit flags. I've got my Earls charging after these battle ready, or no, actually I'm going to do a rear charge here. Rear charges don't tend to break units real easy, which I kind of don't like. it seems like pretty much most of the units in the mod, whether they're cheap or not, fight to the death. And it kind of makes the late game a little bit boring and annoying, but the initial battles in the mod are very fun, and the units look very, very cool, as you can see. So yeah, his cavalry here, like I said, you can see that they're pretty much fighting to the death. And both of us are down to half our men at pretty much the same time. I've got some cavalry kind of chasing away some of his Dunedain, and then I turn around and come after more of his missile units, which are still standing up here. So these Arnorian heavy archers going to get a charge from my Dale cavalry. One of my Dale cavalry got caught and torn up a little bit on the flanks before it could do a lot of damage. But, you know, we just, like I said, we kind of got a mainline infantry fight going. His guys have some outflanking maneuvers going on. So he is actually winning the infantry fight slowly but surely. Not by a lot, but he's winning it. My infantry is pretty good. And then over here on my right flank, I'm having better engagements for myself. And then right now, my Bardian marksmen are taking more losses than I'd like. But he's also losing a ton of cavalry trying to kill them. But if he can kill those Bardian marksmen, it'll make the late game difficult for me. Nice rear charges here again from the forces of Arnor. And again, he's going to keep his cavalry pretty mobile here, just hit and run, and I'm just kind of following them with arrows so that I can kill as many of them as I can. Takes quite a while. My horse guards did very well in combat, and a lot of my infantry here does pretty well too. And these axemen just end up being fantastic support in all these fights over here. Ended up being very happy with their performance in the battle. But like, look at this Arnor men-at-arms, 3 men, and they're still fighting. They finally broke. So yeah, the fighting in that sense I think takes just a little too long. But this battle has been absolutely epic. I mean, we were trading punches almost equally, and I was not able to dispatch all of his Dunedain Rangers. So if I would have been a lot more effective with my Dale cavalry on the left, or on my right flank, I should have been able to dispatch these Dunedain Rangers, but no, I'm not. And these are some very good archers. So they're going to sit back here and punish my men, whereas I could have been in a lot better shape. My Bjornings here, or whatever, they're going to attack these dismounted knights at arm. It says victory seems certain. I would expect so. I don't think my infantry is heavy enough to stand up in this type of fight. But, you know, they'll get in here and do some fighting. We're getting a couple of kills, though I'm guessing that my guys are probably getting beat worse. I don't know, they're starting to get quite a few kills on these guys here. But yeah, the fighting is down now to just a few tattered units. The enemy general did die, but again, he just keeps seeming to come up with like these little 4 or 5 man cavalry units, and they just don't die. Like, I don't have very many big units left to deal with them. And so his guys just like 1, 2, 3 guys left, and they just continue doing the same thing. I'm doing a little bit of the same thing to him over here, but my cavalry are not as heavily armored for the most part. So his other Dunedain unit, I should have been chasing it too, but since I wasn't, he's actually killing a few of my men here, and I do manage to kill quite a lot of his Dunedain here, which was definitely an important measure if I wanted to win. But this battle is kind of slowly turning against me. Other than a few infantry fights like this one, most of the infantry fights down here, his pikemen have helped swing it in his favor. So say like right here, I have 1 guy left, a Barding herdman who's still sitting here fighting. And otherwise, most of his infantry is breaking through. My Bjornings did a pretty good job here. They pulled these guys down by about almost 20 men. Considering they were kind of outclassed, that wasn't bad. These Dale Swordmasters kind of getting mopped up by pikes here too. And then there's a few of these battle-ready Dunedain breaking through. And I just don't have enough of my marksmen free to do anything about it, because these, like I said, these little 1 or 2 man cavalry units that he keeps charging me with have been extraordinarily annoying. They're heavy armor and just good stats in general. Just help them keep living and living and living. My general is down to 3 men here, and one of them is my general. So I go ahead and let my archers pull back, and I gave them an attack order, but they don't start firing very quickly. And by the time my guys turn around and get ready to fire, his cavalry's already right back on top of me. So this kind of stuff was killing me, how his cavalry could just charge, disengage, and like it ended up being very effective for him, because he was able to use that charge bonus. And at this point, he is going to win the battle, but it is going to be an epic battle. You can see the remnants of the infantry fight here. My last few men here fighting mightily. Dale Swordmasters, they look like cool, big, like 2-handed units. That's pretty cool. But they are not doing so well against these pikemen. And then I think pretty much most of the rest of my units are dead. I have a few Barding herd here. They're being shot at by Dunedain, and I'm chasing one of his units with this Bjorning. And then, unfortunately for me, my Bardian marksmen are being hunted down by these sweet-looking Arnor men-at-arms, or battle-ready Dunedain, I guess is what they're called. Here comes the charge between my axemen and some of his Arnor men-at-arms, I think. My guys will not win this battle. And then there goes my general and dies as well.
Perhaps our chances of victory with it.
Perhaps. No, it is going to be a victory for my opponent. I go ahead and admit defeat, but it was a very close battle. I think it was within 100 kills, and we both deployed roughly the same amount of men. I feel like because I had that higher ground at first, if I would have pushed a little harder, it seemed like my cavalry ended up doing better than I thought. I think if I would have gone ahead and pushed his cavalry on my left fling and supported with those axemen, that I could have defeated it rather handily, and then maybe gotten an advantage. My Barding marksmen, or my Bardian marksmen were actually doing very well versus his archers too, and I think that, you know, again, had I played that out a little better, it could have worked. But he got some infantry around my flanks. He also got more rear charges than I did, and that was just enough to make a difference. Because again, or sorry, it wasn't within 100 kills. It was within a little under 200 kills, but still very close here. So you can see that a very tight battle. And then the unit statistics here in terms of my men. Again, some of these units did a little bit better than I thought they could. Like this Dale cavalry racked up 80 kills, which wasn't bad. My Bardian marksmen just not really getting enough time to fire. But they did kill quite a bit of cavalry out of the stuff that they did kill, though, so it wasn't too bad. And again, my infantry just got beat by his in the end. Hope you all enjoyed this replay on Third Age Total War. It was a lot of fun. I will see you all back with some more action here if you want to see it. HeirofCarthage, signing out for now.